to John. There was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the wedding. When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, how does the concern affect me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish ceremonial washings, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told them, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Draw some out now and take it to the head waiter." So they took it. And when the head waiter tasted the water that had become wine, without knowing where it came from, although the servants who had drawn the water knew, the head waiter called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves good wine first, and then when people have drunk freely, an inferior one. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this as the beginning of his signs at Cana in Galilee, so revealed his glory, and his disciples began to believe in him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
For the last month, we have certainly heard the word gift used often and in many different contexts. Many of us have looked for gifts to give someone. Many of us received gifts and gave gifts. We might say that Jesus' birth was the perfect gift. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated the Epiphany, and Father's homily was about the gifts of the Magi. He explained each gift and its meaning and closed by saying, "You should celebrate the gift that God has given you. Celebrate the gift of you." Today we hear in our second reading from 1 Corinthians that there are spiritual gifts and that there are different types of spiritual gifts. Paul mentions in his letter 9 spiritual gifts, but this is by no means a total list of all the spiritual gifts we can receive. No matter how exhaustive the list becomes, we are reminded by Paul that all gifts are by one Spirit. Paul's letter to the Corinthians is at a time when the people of Corinth thought that if they possessed these spiritual gifts, they were better than someone else. They also thought that the gifts were for their own purpose, to use as they wish, or maybe even just for themselves. Paul reminds them in that letter that the spiritual gifts are for the betterment of the whole community and not just individuals. Paul's letter is letting the Corinthians know, and we know, that every Christian has spiritual gifts, but no one person has all the spiritual gifts. It is through the use of each of our gifts for the betterment of the community that the church will grow and answer God's call. Discernment is an important part of finding one's gift. It is through our discernment that we can find the gifts that we have been given by God. Once we realize a gift, we are expected to use that gift for the good of the community. Going back to Father Legato's homily about gifts, we again recall him saying, "Thank God for the gift of you." Every day people use their gifts to grow the church through their particular gifts. Dr. Tom Katina, a native of Amsterdam, New York, has spent the past decade in Sudan's Nuba Mountains in the midst of a violent civil war. And in 2015, in an interview with the New York Times, he told them that he's the only doctor permanently assigned to the Mother of Mercy Hospital, serving a population of nearly 500,000 people. Amid the bombings, he works without electricity, running water, or any kind of modern medical equipment. The reason? He is driven by his Catholic faith. "I've been given gifts from the day I was born," Dr. Tom said. "I have a loving family, a great education, so I see it as an obligation as a Christian and as a human being to help other people and use my gifts." Archbishop Fulton Sheen gave advice that we cannot simply think our way to find our purpose. As he said, we had to get out and live it. The solution is to love people whom you see And Bishop Sheen closed that by saying, if we do not love those whom we see, how can we love God whom we do not see? God is calling us to discern our gifts and find our mission by acting upon our gifts. He asks this of us no matter our past successes or our past failures. Our action may be a radical change, or it may be to serve one around us, even in a deeper way. It will call on our strength. It will call on our weaknesses. We are called as Catholics to love more perfectly, more patiently, and with greater love and tenderness. And we are called to do this each and every day. No matter what our gifts are, this is a universal call to each one of us, so that the hope of Christ can be made real in this world. How can we answer the universal call from God? We can surely say, "Who am I, Lord? I'm but one person." We must remember, no one person has all the gifts, but together we can make them all come to fruition. Do you have the gift of administration? The ability to organize people? The resources for greater efficiency? Call the office if you do. How about the gift of apostleship? The ability to reach out to new people and make them welcome in our community, any community. Join the welcome ministry. Become a greeter. How about the gift of compassion? The ability to act on people who are in need. See Deacon Bob. Or how about the gift of giving? The ability to provide others with resources to support God's will. See Ellen Hartz in the social justice ministry. How about healing? Do you have the gift of healing? Can you bring the love of God to those hurting or suffering? See Deacon Bob or the nursing administrators. Do you have the gift of helping? Please, see anyone at our church about the behind-the-scenes needs. We have many. And do you have the gift of servanthood? Do you have the ability to do for others, even when it means the exclusion of meeting your own needs? See Deacon Bob or Father Legato. Find your gifts, take action, and ask for help as to how you can help others. It's our faith. It's our opportunity to give back to God for the gift of life He freely gave to us. And in the words of St. Catherine of Siena, be who God meant you to be, and you will set the world on fire.